Biology, chapter 12, uh, second video, theory. In living organisms, the energy requirement is mainly for work. It is for work, to do work. And this work will actually involve uh, physical work, that is the external using the external appendages such as arms and legs, the movements and whatever the other things that animals and humans do. So that would also be involved, and also there are in a very small scale, in a macro scale, there is a lot of other chemical reactions that take place. And let's look at these different kind of work that is included in an organism. The first one is synthesis of complex substances from simpler ones. So those are anabolic reactions. Like I told you earlier, there are anabolic and catabolic reactions. So synthesis of complex substances is work. Now, for example, if polysaccharides are to be made from monosaccharides, uh, that is a process of anabolic reaction. That is, more larger compounds are made from simple ones. Then uh, lipids are formed from glycerol and fatty acids. Polypeptides are made from amino acids, and nucleic acids are from nucleotides. So small compounds are put together to produce large compounds. Then active transport. You know what active transport is? Active transport is the uh, transfer of materials against a concentration gradient which requires energy. Uh, that is diffusion against concentration gradient, such as the activity of the sodium potassium pump. So in AS level you have learnt about sodium potassium pump, so that is quite important to know as an example for work. Then mechanical work, like I told you, the work that involves the movement or the muscle contraction, and whatever the other cellular in a macro microscopic level as well, uh, there is a requirement of mechanical work. For example, cilia and flagella are to be moved to remove or to facilitate transport of materials. Then amoeboid movement and movement of vesicles through cytoplasm, they all require energy. So that is mechanical work. Then in few organisms, bioluminescence and electrical discharge. Bioluminescence, you have seen these fireflies and some fish in the sea, in deep seas, they have bioluminescence. Then electric eel have electric discharge. Then this heat energy that is produced as a result of these chemical reactions, or these processes that take place, they will be used up. There are uses for them. Mammals and birds use thermal energy that is released from metabolic reactions to maintain a constant body temperature, right? So they have to maintain a constant body temperature. Most animals are ectotherms. The thermal energy that warms them comes from outside their bodies. Mammals and birds are endotherms. So the mammals and birds are endotherms. Most animals are ectotherms. That is, the energy that the heat energy comes from outside. They depend on outside. But endotherms, that is mammals and birds, they depend on their energy. They depend on the heat energy that is produced as a result of the chemical reactions that take place within their bodies. So that temperature, heat rather, is used to maintain the body temperature, usually above the surrounding temperature. But we have to remember that it is maintained at a constant level. This maintenance of constant level is actually done by a negative feedback loop, which we will be learning in another lesson. But you have learned the basics of this in O levels. Negative feedback loop is way that the body maintains the constant body temperature. The importance of having a constant body temperature is that we require different chemical reactions to take place inside the body, and most of these chemical reactions are facilitated by enzymes, and these enzymes are temperature specific. That is, they get you have learned about proteins become deformed or denatured by high temperatures, so it has to be maintained at a constant temperature. Then for living organisms to do work, energy requiring reactions must be linked to those that yield energy. That is, energy requiring reactions. So whatever the energy, when energy is required, there has to be an energy supply mechanism to that. Now we know that aerobic respiration, simply carbohydrate, usually glucose, is broken down by the use of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water, and that releases a high amount of energy. So here it says C6H12O6 plus 6O2 giving 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 2870 kilojoules of energy. That is, each mole of glucose produces 2870 kilojoules of energy. That is a very large amount of energy. This does not actually take place at once. This chemical reaction does not take place at once. There are different steps, small steps available in the chemical reaction. The reason why they take place in step is so that it can be, the energy that is given out can be harnessed or trapped or used properly. Because if it happens all at once, it would be like a bomb explosion. We will not be able to get any work done. So these multi-step reactions will give the body a precise control, and also that is also dependent on a feedback mechanism, right? And obviously it cannot harness the energy if it was made available at once. But when this reaction is taking place, this breaking down of glucose is not a very efficient process. Why? Because glucose is a very much stable compound. So as a result, it has a very high activation energy, but that is mitigated, or that requirement is reduced by the use of enzymes to carry out the chemical reaction. So enzymes, the effect of enzymes. Enzymes reduce the activation energy that is required so that the chemical reaction would take place much more easily than without the enzyme. Then also this process is made easier, that is, the breaking down of glucose process is made easier by increasing the energy level of glucose by phosphorylation, and that is also we'll be learning in this lesson in another video. Now in theory, that is, like we said, that there has to be a connection between the energy producing chemical reaction and the energy using chemical reaction, but this connection is made by an intermediary product. That intermediary product is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and this energy yielding reactions will make an intermediary product, ATP, and that ATP can go and facilitate all the energy requiring chemical reactions. So as you can see here, this oxidation of glucose energy diagram is there. You have the substrate, then the activation energy, and that produces carbon dioxide and water. The effect of the enzyme would be that it would reduce the activation energy. So that means it would go something like this, but finally it happens, the same thing happens, but the activation energy would be less. Let's write a note on this. Write down work. Living organisms require energy to carry out work which includes number one, synthesis of complex materials from simpler materials. Now this is actually polymerization, polymer made from monomers. Example, polysaccharides made from monosaccharides. Number two, active transport within, if you want, you can write the definition: movement of materials from a place of its lower concentration to a place of its higher concentration against the concentration gradient. This is the opposite of, and through a partial permeable membrane, this is the opposite of diffusion. Then number three, mechanical work, within brackets side macro and micro, muscle contractions and cellular movements. Number four, in some organisms, bioluminescence and electrical discharge. Next point, write down: the heat energy that is produced as a result of these chemical reactions will not go to complete waste. It will be used to maintain body temperature, maintain a constant body temperature. Next point, birds and mammals are endotherms. Birds and mammals are endotherms. That is, they use the energy released by these chemical reactions to heat their body and maintain a constant body temperature. Many other animals are ectotherms. That is, they depend on the environment to supply the heat energy required. Next, leave a line and write: the energy yielding reactions such as, and then please write down this equation: C6H12O6 plus 6O2 giving 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 2870 kilojoules should be closely associated with the energy requiring chemical reactions. However, this is easily done by using a intermediary product within brackets ATP, which can be easily and flexibly used to harness energy. Leave a line and write: glucose is a stable compound. Therefore, it is not easy to break it down. This problem is overcome by using enzymes to reduce the activation energy and also by raising the energy level of the glucose by phosphorylation. Leave a line and write again: This complex chemical reaction does not take place at once. Rather, it takes many different small steps, because that makes the harnessing of energy much more efficient. I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please raise them.